Hello, and welcome to Experience Points Qmenera. I'm your baby GM, Kelric. I use he and him for my pronouns, and I'm here with my fabulous cast.
Hi, I'm Jess. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Tiyune.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm Railu.
Hi, I'm Kenny, and I use he, him pronouns, and I play Hillian.
And I believe Jess has the recap from our last session.
I do. We talked to Daxam's friend, Liliana, who's using an interesting filament to make her job easier. Daxam found it and gifted it to her, and it seems to have come from some sort of creature. We ventured into Daxam's foraging area to see if we could figure out where a stash of Numenera is hidden, and while Railu was being their usual unreasonable self, I was sucked into a tree. I let myself get careless because Railu was getting on my nerves, but I'm prepared to blame Railu for this forever.
And here I thought we were going to be friends.
Okay, so we're going to pick up in the forest with Railu. You have just seen Tiyune get sucked into a tree. Hillian, you have seen nothing.
Nope, Hillian's off in the distance, and you hear... and he's calling for Jacques.
Can you do a turkey call with your mouth? Is that what you just did?
It was more of a coo.
I'm impressed.
I did it too close to the mic.
Okay. So Railu's going to freeze and is going to go to yell out and then realize about the whole Jurassic thing.
Oh, nuts! Fine.
Aha! And then stop and Hillian! Hillian! I don't know. Does Hillian hear me?
In and around the tree area, and
Okay.
kind of within short range of...
Okay.
So I believe that Hillian would have enough awareness to hear Railu, and you hear Hillian kind of stomping around in the underbrush and be like, "Hold on, I'm getting Jacques. What's going on?"
No. You don't understand. Tiyune touched this tree over here and disappeared. It's this Newman. I need you to come do something.
Well, that sounds a lot more careless than she usually is.
That's what I'm saying.
Normally, when people get sucked into trees, that's kind of you. That's your territory.
Everyone thinks that she is so great, and don't get me wrong, she's super useful, but she's not as perfect as everyone thinks. Anyway, Tiyune got. I need you to come solve this.
Well, let me get Jacques. Hold on. And you hear, more of the. And I think that, you would see Jacques kind of, or you'd hear in the branches, like some branches move and rustle, and then from a tree kind of runs down and jumps onto my shoulder.
Side note, one day, Railu and Tiyune are going to be best friends, but that's like 2 years from now.
I don't know that Tiyune would agree with that statement.
Well, we'll make it work.
We'll
see.
see.
Inside the tree hear what Railu just said?
We'll get to Tiyune in a moment. So
Hillian comes up to the tree.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't touch it.
Well, of course not. I wouldn't touch the tree. I mean, who would touch a random Numenera object without first inspecting it? That's just
what I'm
weird.
trying to say. They were yelling at me because I was pointing at the tree, and then they touched the tree because I didn't want to touch it.
Are you sure you didn't, bump her or something?
I would never. You know how, and then I do, a backflip.
I mean, you are graceful. But your words are usually better than your movements, I have to say.
So, I would like you to do... Let me look at your character sheet.
I'll roll for that backflip if I have to.
Oh, yes, that is what this is about. But,
I hope I fall into the tree.
well, I mean, you are kicking your legs out around you, right in front of a tree, not far from where Tiyune got sucked in.
I could do a forward somersault.
So, let's do just a simple speed roll.
Cool. I can...
It's not super difficult, but I think for this, if there's I don't know how to roll a percentile chance. I would give you a 2% chance that you would be careless enough to hit the tree.
Do you want me to roll it, or are you going to?
I want you to roll it. It's your character.
Okay.
You have a 2% chance. If it's 98 to 100, then you hit the tree. 73, fine. 37, fine. You do not hit the tree. You managed to graceful your way through this. But
how great would that have been, though?
Yeah, I mean, it was a thing. Okay.
Yeah, Hillian comes up to the tree and they're like, "Okay, let me have a look at what's going on here." and they inspect the area that Railu has pointed out, and I'll roll Understanding Numenera for that.
Sure. You have had it pointed out to you. You have had the example of what it did, and you understand Numenera. So I'm going to say this is a TD4 just because it's not a Numenera you know, but you've been given a lot of information already. And so go ahead and put in whatever modifier or effort you're going to do. And,
I'll definitely spend some effort on that.
Well, first, what skills will you be able to use to drop it?
I'm going to be using Understanding Numenera, yeah.
So that takes it to a task difficulty 3.
Okay, perfect.
And are you using your perception as well?
I can if you'll allow me to use 2 skills at once, but I think that the specific skill to roll on would be Understanding Numenera.
Okay, then sure. Go ahead and do that and apply the effort you want to.
Sure.
Oh, you do it. Your base roll was enough to do it. So you are able to determine that this is a portal in the tree that is always on, and it will definitely take you elsewhere. From what you can tell, the energy level of the Numenera never stops, so it doesn't seem to have any limits on how many times you can go through, and it looks like all of you can just use it forever if you wanted to. Like, there does not seem to be any, like, you don't know how long it's been there, but it has been active for a reasonable amount of time, and it's actually part of a real tree. This is not a synthetic tree. This is a real tree.
Cool. I think that the way Hillian would handle it, as Hillian handles most things, he spends a while just kind of staring at him like and you see his hand kind of go over, like, not touch, but go over the edges and be like, okay. And then he just touches it and goes through.
Okay. So now and you see Tiyune. The two of you have fallen into an enclosed hallway. The enclosed hallway is brightly lit in a green light. And it doesn't seem to do anything to impair your vision. Everything looks perfectly normal. The light is all the way down the hall, and Tiyune, you were able to hear absolutely everything on the other side of the portal. But when you came through so unexpectedly, you fell, and I would like for you to do a intellect roll at level TD3. Perfect. So you rolled an 11, which definitely beats it, and you see all around the interior of this hallway strands of that hair-like filament that Daxam brought back for Liliana. It's obvious that you can get through here, but you have to be very careful, and you were very lucky when you fell through that you saw, not 2 inches in front of your face, a strand that would have cut you across the forehead. And so you were able to stop, and you kind of froze, giving yourself time to see what's going on. And you were able to move around enough you've actually found where it was connected to the wall, and you were able to break that wall section so that the thing is just sort of hanging, and it's no longer a danger to anyone. But down this hallway, you are going to need to be doing checks to make sure that you are not running into more of these webs. You did hear everything, but you were pretty busy. So now you luckily moved far enough ahead that when Hillian stepped through, he didn't push you into anything, and you two are now together.
So then Tiyune will, seeing Hillian, will just sort of call out, hey, the person who's not so great found the stash. Why don't you come on in here, Railu?
I don't know that they can hear you. I think that the sound kind of only goes one way. In fact, I don't even know if we can come out this way. But we can definitely come in, and it's still on.
Well,
Railu cannot hear you.
Well, we should figure out a way to get Railu in here with us. Or leave them out there, I guess, to keep watch, but they have no idea what's going on.
Well, I mean, I just kind of went in. Maybe I should have told him that it was safe.
Yeah, that probably would have been helpful.
Flashback to Railu outside, like, what do I do? Pacing back and forth, like, what am I supposed to do here? What if they're dead? I don't want to die too, but what if they're not dead? This seems very dangerous. It's going to shock me probably. We all know I'm bad with electricity. And then cut back.
Well, I could just test and see if we could come back out. Let me send Jacques out.
Okay. Jacques comes right back through the barrier, no problems. And
But before, I send Jacques out. I'm like, okay, no, go get Railu and tell them that it's okay. You got that, little Jacques?
all right, what does that look like when they go out?
So I bet, I gather that the squirrel-looking creature kind of hops through the tree trunk and looks up at Railu, and then goes back into the tree trunk.
Perfect.
You hear y'all do. Just so in case I've never said it, Railu is probably 17, so they're still a teenager, and so you just hear like a small scream, just like, ah! But like a little bit better than that, and then Jacques runs back in, and they look at it, and they get out their whip, and they're like, all right, and they walk into it.
Okay. So you are all in this hallway. As you can see, it's just a long corridor. Tiyune is in front, so you're in your marching order. What are you doing?
Since Tiyune has seen the filaments that are sort of hanging everywhere, she's going to unwrap her scarf from around her neck and drape it over her head, and then also try to leave as much room as she can for them to drape it over, for both Railu and Hillian to drape it over their heads as well, and say, this place is filled with those dangerous filaments. I don't know for sure that my scarf will survive it, but this is a good precaution we can use while we're navigating through here. So try to keep yourself covered up so those filaments don't do any real damage, but also keep an eye out for those things. Make sure that we're not getting caught in those.
With that, Tiyune now has since she has seen them and knows to look for them, any difficulty the difficulty is a level 3 to find them. It is dropped to a level 1 to find them. So you just have to roll a 3 or better anytime you search for these. And with you and Hillian and Railu in here, you all can do another, I guess it'd be a knowledge check. I don't even know what you would call it. To understand animals. Yeah, intellect check about understanding animals, just so in case you have some sort of skill around this. You understand now, basically, you can see that these are webs. So that gives you more information that might jog your memory to see if you can tell what this comes from.
So Railu walks in, and do they fall as well, or is that just when you literally fall in?
It was literally because they fell in. It was expected to get jerked through.
So Railu walks in and just sees both of you and goes, "Oh, thank God!" and then we keep doing our thing.
All right. So if I can get Railu's roll, we'll see if we'll have any more information. So far,
if it's just
no. 2-6.
Just straight intelligence.
Yes. Oh,
17.
Railu does. Cool. Railu, you remember just, when you were at the Order of Truth, you were just forced to go through and learn things. As far as you're concerned, it seems like it was just punishment for being there, but the Order of Truth was actually trying to arm you with information. And there was a small passage in a book that talked about steel spiders. And it said, "We had a glow globe to light our way. Suddenly, someone says they see something sparkling right in front of me. In the light, right? I stopped right off, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be telling you this now. I'd be in 3 or 4 pieces on that floor. See, I reached out with my dagger to touch what it was, just a few strands of spiderweb stretched across the walkway. That's all right. Except touching it with my dagger cut into the blade a ½ inch. A good iron blade ruined. That's how sharp and strong these things are. I turned around to tell Neris, but then he says, it's shaking. I turned back to see a spider glistening like silver in our light. It was the size of a dinner plate. Moving along, 2 of them. The little strands right towards us. Good thing we had the heat cutter that Jerland found. We used it like a weapon on the spider as it approached one blast, and that drove it off, and we got out of there. Nera said that as we left, he saw more of them. A whole network of their webs strung everywhere. I don't want to go back there anytime soon. So you remember that.
I'd rather not, but I did.
Now you can share whatever part of that you can remember with your teammates in whatever Railu way you would like to.
Railu looks around and sees all this and goes, all right, listen. I recognize this now. I didn't get it before, but now I do. The Order told me about something called steel spiders. It's a story I heard about an individual who was adventuring, and when they came across it, the webs actually cut into iron. That's how strong it is. And apparently these things come in swarms. There will be so many of these. Are we sure we want to do this? It could be incredibly dangerous. They had to use something called a heat cutter to get through these spiders, and we don't have anything like that.
Well, I mean, we do have to find the Numenera, and I don't see where, we'd be able to do that without having to go through here. But I don't know. I mean, we did promise the village we would cure them, so...
We also do have something like that. When we rescued those people from that underground cage thing, they gave me this. And Tiyune pulls out the wand that they explained when you turn it on, it like shoots out a heat beam and cuts through metal.
Mm-hmm.
How many times does that work? From the story that I remember, there were so many of these things, and if they're like regulars, there will be.
Well,
I don't...
so it only works the one time, I believe. Ciphers are one shots. It would have to be it would have to be an artifact for it to be more than once.
Yep.
Is it a cipher?
Yes.
Okay.
Could the GM make it into an artifact?
The GM is capable. The GM is not willing.
All right, well, all I know is that make sure to look up. They come from the webs.
That's generally how I spend my life, is I look up a lot. Sometimes I look down, but mostly up.
That's why I'll
keep it out.
Hillian.
I'll keep it out so that I have it in case we see a swarm. But I mean, if we're looking for where the Numenera came from, it seems likely that it probably came from in here.
How could Daxam have even gotten through any of this? It doesn't make any sense. They're just another villager. There's some bear claws outside. Do you think that has anything to do with it? I know that sounds ridiculous, but you never know.
There's only one way to find out. Do you want to go grab one?
Yeah, I'll go back outside and grab those that I found.
All right. And what are you doing with them?
I'll bring them back and be like, they're just regular, I forgot what the creature is called.
Ravage bear.
Ravage bear claws, as far as I can tell, but here they are. This is the only thing out there that was of interest.
So are you all going to do a perception check in here, see if you see claw marks, or what are you looking to do?
Tiyune's just going to take one of the claws from Railu, if Railu's willing to give her one, and basically just very carefully touch it to one of the filaments to see if the filament cuts through it or if it can push the filament out of the way.
Oh, it cuts right through that claw. The area you touched cuts like butter, like nothing.
All right.
Damaged, ravaged bear claw.
One damaged, one perfect. Rel will say, all right, well, I mean, if forward's the way we have to go, then the way we have to go. But Hillian, you're still the best tracker here. Maybe you could tell where Daxam went.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind looking around for things. We just have to be careful of these strandy filaments that can cut everything stuff.
Yep, and if you all want to do perception checks and look around, since you're doing tracking.
Yeah.
If you're looking just for the spider webs, it's a level 3, except for Tiyune, who it's a level 1. After all of you make the level 3 check, it all goes into level 1 for all of you, which would make it a 0 thing for Hillian because he sees everything. So with your 17, you no longer have to roll to find the spider webs. They're obvious to Hillian. With your 11, you only have to roll a 3 or higher. So you can see webbing all around this hallway, but not a lot of it cuts across, and definitely where it cuts across, you all can just duck under it. It's not super dangerous to you right now. You don't see any of the steel spiders that created them. This is an enclosed hall, and you do see a dead steel spider on the floor about 30 feet ahead of you. Hillian, you rolled a 17 in your search, which lets you get a benefit, right?
I thought that was like only 18 or 19.
Oh, 17 gives you, yeah. Okay, so it just gives you bonus damage if you're doing that. I'm going to say in this case, it also gives you the benefit of you can see that more than one person came through here.
Oh, okay.
This is not just something that Daxam found. So at least one other person has been through here. You can't tell if they were here at the same time, but at least one other person has been in this hallway.
Well, so it looks like Daxam was definitely down here. It also looks like someone else. At least one other someone else. I don't know if it was around the same time, but, yeah. I want to go look at that dead spider.
Okay. Is anyone trying to be stealthy, or are you just walking along now that you know you can see the webs?
Well, I think we'd still want to be quiet so you don't attract the attention of other spiders. Mm-hmm. And in case there are any left alive. And Tiyune, once Hillian says that, will also be on the lookout for any scales, because if someone was here since the accident happened 5 months ago, they may have left scales behind, and then we'd be able to figure out if one of the other villagers has been through here.
Yeah, of course. So why don't we do the stealth rolls first? And
is that a speed check?
Yes, that is a speed check.
What's the target?
With the spiders, that's going to be a TD5.
Ew.
And if you have anything that I would take Railu's graceful movements as a way to drop the difficulty for them, or their balance for Hillian.
Woo!
How about a nat 20? Does a nat 20 work for you?
Yeah. With that nat 20, you get a major effect option. So why don't we get the rolls from everyone else, and you can determine what that might be. All right, so it looks like both of them just failed. So what do you want your major effect option to be?
So I was hoping that maybe there is some sort of like claw marks or scuff marks on the ground that might tell us which direction these people headed, like a fairly solid trail, maybe some sort of like...
That wouldn't really help you because it's pretty obvious this is a enclosed straight hallway. They have to have just gone forward.
Oh, see, I was hoping like throughout the thing, like, but like obviously I don't know. There's a later fair.
But you could use the major effect to help boost Tiyune and Hillian's rolls, since you rolled a nat 20, as a way to help them. Like if they're starting to make noise, you can step in and you can push them both up to where, because they're both so close that you could push them up so that they wouldn't fail their stealth checks, and or you can do something else.
So I might do that, but also let's see. I also had this other idea.
Yeah.
Let me tell me if it work. This dead spider, maybe there's something about the way that it's like injured or something that'll tell us how to kill these things. Is there like maybe a burn mark or something? Like maybe we could figure out a way to kill these.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see in that the spider's abdomen is melted. Like it has been, like it's melted metal. It's like it's been superheated and just burned. And so, yeah, however it was killed, you know that they used either a laser or, some sort of fire Numenera, something to destroy its abdomen.
So it has to be heat, or at least that's how this one was killed. Okay.
Well, yeah, this one, but it looks like it has to be something that can get through their toughened shells, their carapace. And with that said, since the two of you failed your stealth rolls, you see their friends. And suddenly there are 3 dinner plates straight in front of you. So why don't we go ahead and roll for initiative?
Woohoo! So speed rolls?
Yes, speed rolls. Hillian, what are you going to do? You see these 3 steel spiders, and they are glowing metallic, and obviously with the green light everywhere, they have green light flashing off of their carapaces everywhere. And since you don't have to roll to see their webbing or anything, you can see exactly where they're coming from on the wall above, the roof of the wall above you.
How high up is the roof of the wall?
It is 12 feet.
Okay. So what Hillian is going to do is pull their bow around from where they're at, and they're going to fire at one of the spiders.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll roll to attack with their bow.
Okay. Okay.
So it's they beat a level 6.
Oh yeah, they definitely hit. How much damage does your bow do?
4.
And which spider were you shooting for?
The one on the left, I guess.
All right. So that one's taken damage. And then it looks like Railu was next.
Yeah, with the 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So Railu is going to take out the Sisk's range, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Rylu's going to take out their Sisk and chuck it at the one that Hillian just hit.
Okay. The difficulty is TD3 to hit them.
It's okay. So because it is a light weapon, I do get a step easier.
Cool. So you definitely, yeah, you have a TD2. And do you have any ciphers or anything? Because I didn't put those into your character yet.
I have the instant shelter and the sleep inducer.
Ah, okay.
So I will roll my 6 or better, hopefully. 6 exactly.
You hit it. How much damage does your weapon do?
So because it's a light weapon, it does 2, and then because I have combat prowess, I get +1, so 3 damage.
All right. So it does not look like it takes as much damage as both of you would hope, but it did take damage from both of you. And I'm having you all go on the highest person's initiative, so now it's Tiyune's turn. What would you like to do?
So Tiyune will hold out the wand and say, I have this wand that will cut through these, but it seems early to be using that in case there are more later. But if y'all want me to use it, I'll use it now.
No, I think that they're taking some damage. So, let's just see if we can get through this.
Okay, so in that case, Tiyune will use shock. So she's just going to, no, not shock, sorry.
I was going to say, Tiyune is going to walk up to 3 dinner plate-sized spiders and just touch one.
No.
You're going to let...
She's going to use onslaught.
Okay.
You wouldn't do that?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking because it seems really interesting that these spiders excrete monofilament.
No, I'm not going to go. Well, with shock 2, I don't have to touch it. I can, put it on my weapon, and then my weapon does it.
You rolled a 19.
Nice.
So that allows you to get a damage bonus of +3 or a minor effect. And, you can choose, you can strike a specific body part, you can knock that spider back, you can move past them, you can distract for a round. What would you, or you can just do the 3 extra damage.
I'd like to distract for a round so that we have a better chance of taking them out without them lamenting us to death.
Yeah, were you hitting the same one that they were hitting, or were you hitting a different one?
I was hitting a different one, so the one on the right, I guess.
Okay. So how much damage does your weapon normally do?
My onslaught does...
Is it 3?
It does 4 damage.
Okay. So, cool. So it looks like the spider took less than that, but you did definitely do some damage to it. And that spider is going to miss its turn. So now we'll go on to this spider's turn. And they are going to... Tiyune is in front, huh? They will move up to Tiyune. And if you would do a defense roll, it's a defense 3. Ooh, okay. They miss. So that's all they do. And then...
What kind of attack were they doing? What did it look like?
So it looked like it came up and just like any spider, just tried to bite you. It's just looking at trying to eat you. That's all it wants is its little spidery face came right at you, and now its friend is, because they are not super thinking creatures. If you would do another might defense roll, another one's trying to bite you. All right. So this one is actually going to get through and bite you because you needed a 9 and you rolled an 8. They're going to do 3 points of damage, plus when they bite you, their main attack is that they inject you with monofilament steel spider webs, which do another 4 points of damage inside whatever body part they hit.
Ugh.
So that's a total of 7 points of damage to your might pool, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they're not fun.
They sound lovely.
I believe that drops you down on the damage track because your might pool becomes empty.
I still have 2 points in my might pool.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Whew. I just saw the 2 and I was like, oh, that's terrifying.
Oh no, the 2 is what I just changed it to.
Okay. Well, that's the end of its turn. Hurrah. Hillian, what would you like to do?
Hillian sees them come up to Tiyune and attack, and he's like, no, don't attack my friends, and pulls out his mace and swings at.
And I'm sorry, Tiyune. How do you react to having a spider bite you and inject you with steel monofilaments that almost tear you apart on the inside?
She definitely like recoiled a little bit and then bit down really hard on her lips so that she wouldn't make noise to draw more spiders to us. But she definitely let out a little bit of like a squawking sound that was like, it's clear that she is in pain.
Okay.
Sweet. And Hillian will expend some effort on this because he is afraid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you definitely hit.
So I rolled a 14 and that beats a 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's for 4 points of damage.
All right, so
smacking one of the spiders, and Hillian will say, "Get behind me, Tiyune."
All right, that makes it Railu's turn. 2 of the spiders, the one that's stunned and the one that bit Tiyune, look pretty damaged. The one that was the one that was not stunned, that missed on Tiyune, is perfectly hale, but the other 2 look dented, but not broken.
I want to like move right in the middle of all 3 of them, but I can't do that then.
You would have to roll and get a minor effect, so a 19, which would allow you to move past.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to move up because I also am like, everyone get behind me. I can fend off these. And then I have to have my whip because my sword won't reach. So I'm gonna get my whip out and start I'll whip the spider that's on, no, that'll hit Tiyune. I'll whip the spider that's not on Tiyune, the other one that's damaged.
Okay.
Another 6.
Hooray, you hit.
All right, and that one does the same 3 points of damage.
Okay, and now Tiyune. How do you feel about that cipher now?
Still hesitant to use it since I don't know how much noise it's going to make. It might just draw more spiders to us.
All right.
So I'm going to do just the same thing again, another onslaught.
Okay. On the one that bit you?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
There we go. Oh, you got a natural 20, and that makes it where you can do an extra 4 damage or a major effect.
Can I do for a major effect? Since I'm like zapping it with electricity, can I make it explode and then maybe some of the pieces hit the other spider as well?
You aren't doing enough damage to kill it.
Aw.
You can impair it so that for the rest of the combat, all tasks attempted by the foe are hindered. So their attacks would be, or your defenses would be easier for you to make, and stun the foes for 1 turn.
Maybe because you're doing lightning, if Kelric allows it, maybe it chains and you like hit one other for like half damage or something.
I would let you hit all 3 of them for the same damage if you want to do that.
I would love to do that.
Okay, so it does 4 points of damage.
I figured since they're metal and you're using electricity.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, since you're doing that, I will bump it up by another 2 points.
Ooh, awesome.
And I will tell you that they look, this one is gone. You have totally wrecked one of them with that. By getting that double, you've been able to wreck one. The one that Hillian's been hitting looks like it's pretty broken. Like it looks like, one good hit to take it down. And then the one that you stunned early on is pretty badly beaten. And so now it's the steel spider's turn, and this one disappears. It just scurries away after taking that kind of hit. And then the one that was stunned on its turn also just scurries out of sight. Like they were just looking for easy food, and you were not easy food. You have done way more damage than they anticipated. They thought, tasty. So, yay, you are out of combat. how do you want to deal with your situation?
I guess we just keep going.
Are you going to use any of your recovery rolls to try and...
Oh, yeah, I guess I should.
These are just options.
You have steel filaments coming out of your arm, and it looks bloody and gross. Does that hurt?
Yes, it hurts very much, Hillian. Thank you. I'm just gonna
Maybe we should sit for a minute. I mean, do we want to like do this here? Do we want to go out the portal and sit under the tree? Is nice. The tree is very nice, and I think that we don't have to worry about the Jurascars that much. Maybe we do. Maybe I'm wrong. And we can just sit here. I don't know.
I was thinking that Railu try to harvest some of that web.
Okay. Yeah, you can totally, work on harvesting some of the web. You would normally need some sort of laser or something to cut through it. This wall is pretty old and crumbly, and it's attached to areas. And so there's the section that Tiyune was able to pull, sort of like crumble the rock away so it fell. And so you can possibly work on the other side. While Tiyune is resting, does anyone want to, search the steel spider?
Hillian took an action to rest.
Okay.
He will also, after that, start searching the dead spider carcass.
And remember, you can take, the rests are an action, 10-minute rest, an hour rest, and then a full night, I think?
Yeah, when you 8 hours. When you roll through your recovery, if you just click on one of the box or the circles, it will elevate or escalate the time to the next marker.
The only reason I bring it up is so that Tiyune knows, so that Jess knows that Tiyune can take a second rest while this is going on if you feel it necessary.
Sure, I'll go ahead and do that.
All right. After this attack and after the bite attack, Tiyune, you remember reading about that same passage. You just didn't really think about it until after Railu had told you about it. And you remember being a little bit more studious than Railu is and really wanting to know more than they do. You remember that steel spiders really just nest in groups of 3 or 4. And so you know that there's one dead one, you have killed one, and you have damaged the other 2, but you feel pretty confident that in this hallway you are not likely to run into any more unless those 2 decide to come back, which not super likely. You feel relatively safe. You just need to be on the lookout in case you see more webbing, and there might be more, but you're not too worried about that. You're just more in pain right now. Okay? And so
Cool.
With that, I believe we are out of time. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, this wonderful cast, for letting me try this new stuff out on you. I'm Kelric. You can find me at EQ Points or at Cormelon on Twitter.
I'm Jess. You can find me at WriteJessR.
I'm Aaron. You can find me at Space Persona.
And I'm Kenny. You can find me at Punderdrone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.